That's odd. I don't remember locking this.
You wouldn't happen to remember if my aunt had a wind-up toy monkey at the yard sale?
Oh, not a cherished childhood memory now, was it?
No, 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 no!
Welcome to the Haddonfield Horrors Podcast, where we discuss all things horror, from one-off movies to franchises to TV series and even expanded media. I'm Mark.
I'm Tawan.
I'm Elion.
And today we're reviewing The Monkey, released in 2015, and it was both written and directed by Osgood Perkins. Elion, can you give the people the plot summary?
When twin brothers find a mysterious wind-up monkey, a series of outrageous deaths tears the family apart. 25 years later, the monkey begins a new killing spree, forcing these strange siblings to confront the cursed toy.
And this week, I do not have any Haddonfield headlines for you all, so we'll get straight into the movie.
Whoa! The Monkey. Now, this is an interesting movie. Have we covered much or any Stephen King movies? I can't remember. I can't recall. Oh,
I
actually, we
Did we do
have.
Carrie?
We have covered Christine. I can't remember if Christine is the only Stephen King movie that we've done so far, but
How about
uh,
Carrie?
and I don't believe I was there for that episode.
you weren't. That was Maria.
Yeah, we haven't done Carrie.
We
Eliana.
haven't done. Yeah, we've only done Christine. That's the only Stephen King we've done. But yeah, outside of Christine, we haven't done any Stephen King films. Even though we've tried a few times, but we just haven't gotten around to it. So I was kind of excited. I like Stephen King's movies to a degree. Like I love both the original and the remake of it. I love the OG Shining by Stephen Kubrick, but I don't like whatever the hell that miniseries was that Stephen King himself did. He could have kept that. Um, and I love Cujo, and I love Christine. So I'm always gonna watch a good Stephen King movie, but it's always hard to come across a good Stephen King movie. So um, I enjoyed this window. It wasn't like I was telling them, like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Like it's a decent movie, and I enjoyed it. How about you guys?
I went to see this when it was out in theaters because I was pretty interested. I'm pretty sure um, I did a double feature that day, so I saw this and I believe Hard Eyes because they came out around the same time in the February of last year. So I saw both of these back to back. I think I saw The Monkey first and then Hard Eyes, and I liked it. I thought it was a fun little campy little time. Um, I coming off of what Osgood Perkins had with the with that movie Longlegs that was out the year prior before this had came out in 2024. I liked that this was like lighter than that movie. Um, and it wasn't taking itself too seriously and the way it was presented. Now there definitely had to be a lot done to even get this as a movie because it was a short story of King's. It wasn't like a book of his. It was a short story, so they had to do a lot of stretching with this one to get it to even work as a movie. Um, which it was it was fine, but I found it to be more fun, and I think that's why I enjoyed it a lot more than I did. Like the kills were wacky in the air, like they were just so out of pocket and like wacky the way that they went about it. You could tell, like with the presentation, that they weren't to be taken serious. So, like Theo James was like acting, like especially when it was the twin brother. Well, not the twin brother, when it was the brother who was um, trying to get him back
It's so
to the
fine.
monkey. Um, he was obviously having a good time with like the acting for that particular role of it, and yeah, I just think like this is definitely one of those that I think is probably better with a group of people type of film. Like it's just one of those where get a bunch of people together and you'll have a good time with it. And I like that like Osgood Perkins, like the director, he kind of got something like this out earlier to like show that while he can deliver that more atmospheric type of vibe with long legs, he can also switch it up and give us this dark like horror comedy type of vibe as well. So I think it was pretty good.
For me personally, I'm kind of piggybacking on both of you because, like, this is my first time watching it. It was not it was not bad, but definitely decent. And now that I kind of had a little bit more context from what just Juan said, saying like they kind of extended the film because this was a short film or like a short story by Stephen King, I can understand why. Just like Tuan said, I really did enjoy the kills just because I'm like they're so like out of nowhere. They're kind of wacky. Um, it took me a minute to understand that because I thought the premise first was supposed to be a horror film. I wasn't aware that it was supposed to be like a horror comedy film. So I was like, oh, okay. Like I thought it was just like I thought it was one of those horror films that just had comedic relief, not like it was actually comedy wise. Um, but before I even started watching this film, I I feel kind of a little stupid because this whole time I thought the monkey was based on that damn monkey from The Conjuring.
Monkey from The Conjuring.
When they were in the first movie of The Conjuring, they were going inside the little fucking room, and there was a toy monkey. And this whole time, I thought it was based on that thing. Like they just extended it.
I don't know why I'm not remembering that. I know what room you're
I
talking about when they went through like the Warrens like
Hmm.
room. But I'm not remembering the monkey.
It was when there
same.
was an interview trying to get. It was when they were trying to get an interview, and the guy was saying, was just kind of like, it was a skeptic that was trying to get an interview from Ed Warren, and
Mhm.
he said and Ed was telling everybody that it was haunted. And it's like
Okay.
don't take it. Everything is not a toy. And it's like not even the toy monkey.
Gotcha. Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, this whole time I thought it was kind of like a an extension to that. That's why I was like, oh wait, this is so different. I felt a little dumb, but that's my first take on the film.
Well, let's get into some of the scenes and kills that stood out to us, both good, bad, and indifferent. And for me, I have to say that very first, I forget if it was the first kill or not, but it's the kill with the babysitter, the nanny, at
First kill.
the hibachi restaurant.
Yeah, that was
Because
wild.
listen here, they was about to get it on her and then
They were
The
eye
chef.
fucking. They were
her
just
and the
eye
chef.
fucking with
Like as soon as he got off, he was about to tear that shit up. And then
it.
the stupid monkey did the thing and he chopped her head off and now he in prison. I'm pretty sure he went to jail after that because
Of
there's no other way
course.
you can explain that. Like, yeah, it's an accident, but like, sir, you cut that woman's head off. Like that was, and then they made it sizzle on the grill.
No, the
Stop.
Disgusting.
grill.
Stop. Stop.
Wow. And then after that, uh, when you first see them as adults and you see how different their lives are, those were good scenes. It showed like how different they became from each other, but how they're both still obviously fucked up because of the monkey and everything that happened to them as kids. So I did enjoy like those scenes.
Mm.
Um, I didn't care for much when the kids got there. Like any scene that the kid was in. I was like, ugh. And then the stepdad, and it was all ugh. I was like, ugh, can we just get past this already? Let's get back to the killing. Um,
I was kind of low key hoping that the ex would die.
honestly, she needed to be. Whatever. Um, the scene where okay, the scene where they were like, "Honey, are you gonna take off the suit?" And he said, "I don't. There's no point of
Oh my
taking it off
god.
because I'm gonna have to put it back on because someone else is gonna die." I was like, "Oh my god, that's fucked up.
That
That's
is fucked up.
that was fucked up." But what about you, Elion? What are some scenes in kills that stood out for you?
It was actually following what you just said about like the suit. It was the comedic relief where their uncle died, and he's like, "Bill, don't," and it just cuts to his funeral. That caught me laughing off guard because I'm like, not them just cutting to this man's funeral after a bear accident. No, it wasn't even a bear accident. It was a tractor accident. They showed that inside the damn body bag was just goo.
No, it wasn't the
Oh,
tractor. It was the horses.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
They stomped his ass out.
They showed it. But I'm telling you, the cut scene from like Bill, don't, and then just there, just like at his funeral, I was cracking up. Um, Another scene I really liked. I found it really funny how he basically killed the whole town. The
Insane.
wedding, and they kind of like did a like what's it called? They went into the future, like they showed something from the in the beginning, the skydiving. They do weddings too, and at the end, there was a groom and a bride that just dies.
No, yeah, that was a good one.
Um, oh, let's see, another one. I felt bad for that woman in the pool. I was like, what? Do? She was just an innocent bystander. Um, it's not. Oh my god, the scene was when the was it the real estate agent or like the lawyer passed away, and when they're taking her body bag out, they're like, and it's a full like line of cheerleaders, and like I was like, oh wow, that's fucked up. But funny enough, this there was one scene that I was a little confused on, and I actually did uh think of it. It was like the ending with like the horseman, like the ghost one. I was like, is this the monkey or is like this the representation? Like even wherever you go, death is gonna come by. And when I was reading that, there was a part saying the cheerleaders are actually a representation of when you're anticipating death, like you're finally happy that's happened. Basically, like it was just a perception. Um, the one scene I wish they got more in depth. Like I understand that it's not that I didn't like it. I was just like I kind of wanted a little bit more backstory on the monkey. Like how did he get, or like where did it come from? Like like the history. Like where who made it X Y Z like that.
No, it's better mystery.
Nah,
You getting into Mark territory.
get out.
I'm surprised Mark didn't say that yet.
Mm-mm. I didn't want to know. I felt like I'm usually down for that until it comes to Stephen King projects because I feel like with anything Stephen King related, the more you know, the more you hate it. Is when you start to turn on it. So
The
I
monkey
know
came
better.
from its room, Pennywise's room in the 1980s. It'll be like T20s or some shit.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
Because the thing is with Stephen King is whether you like it or not,
Fair enough.
all of
I
it.
get that.
No, whether you like it or not, all his like projects, all his books, all his stories, even fucking Cujo, are all related somehow to
Oh
some
god.
big mysterious other world. So I'm pretty sure.
What
Um,
was
have you
I'm
guys
so
seen
sorry.
Dark Tower?
No, I've heard of it.
I I know of Dark Tower. I never saw that movie, but I know
Yeah.
that
So like,
Mike Flanagan's working on that actually.
yeah. So like, wherever the gunslinger and where Pennywise came from, I'm pretty sure that's where the fucking monkey came from. Wait, Mike
Oh,
Flanagan is doing
He's also doing Dark Tower.
what
oh
is
god.
with Mark Flanagan and Stephen King? Like, I need to know the secret because what's going on around here?
They're together.
At this point, I believe it because this well, because in whatever defense, like Mike Flanagan has been pretty much the only director that Steven has liked because Stephen King hates every project that's based off his works. So
They say, yeah. When I was reading up, well, this is off topic, but when I was reading up on it, I think they're like already planning it being like a 5 season show with like a movie or something like that.
mm,
Um, and they're gonna be shooting it this year. I know that for sure.
okay.
Okay.
Well,
Um,
yeah, continue. Onion.
no, I would. I was gonna say no. I was just gonna piggyback on what you said about like fucking Stephen King. You know how like you just don't need to know the background. The one that pissed me off was the dome. That one pissed me off so much. Um, but I remember something that you said. I just don't remember. Where is the Carrie universe? Wasn't it like associated with Pet Cemetery?
Now they're all in the same universe. Every single Stephen King project is in the same universe.
Oh, sorry, um, I think that's all I have. I can't think. Oh, well, how can I forget the aunt being burnt out, her face on fire? That scene had me cracking up, and she killed her own self on the damn fence.
Why does she? Whenever there's like any scene in a movie where someone's like, "Let me get my like face really close to where this fire could possibly come out," like, well, why are
It
we doing that? That is
was
always
the
so
fact.
stupid. That's
It was
always
more.
so stupid to me.
It was more the fact that she was she used alcohol after she fell down the stairs and got fish hooks on her. Oh my girl, did you not think about that?
Clearly not. Um, but okay, yeah. So that was a funny one though. Her whole little sequence. That was good. The part at the end where that fucking truck went by and the cheerleaders.
Oh my god, nice.
That was hilarious to me. Also, when the dad and the son basically just saw death at the end, and death was looking worn the fuck out.
Death was like, "You gonna let me pass?"
Like death was worn out. He was like, "It's too much. Like y'all did too much." That was funny though. Um, another just the entire sequence of when we had Elijah Wood as the husband of the ex-wife. Like he was such a little like creepy little weasel. Like I don't know how else to describe him. Like he was so weird in that scene. I like that Elijah Wood just like pops up randomly in movies now. Like him and Daniel Radcliffe, they just be doing whatever they want after they got they franchise money early
I
on.
mean, listen, Harry Potter and
Lord of the
Lord of
Rings,
the Rings are still paying them, and they like, you know what, we could just pop up and do a
exactly.
little stuff. I
I love
support it.
I love that for them. I love they could do that. I wish if I was an actor, I would love to get in early and then I could just cash out and do whatever I want later, like Robert Pattinson
Mm,
be doing now.
yes.
Like I love that for them. So
I
yeah, that
remember
was
when.
that was funny. Him just
I
popping up
remember.
in there randomly.
Just to pause real quick. Y'all remember when Robert Pattinson had a beautiful ending until you realize he was in Twin Towers?
Oh yeah, that still gets me.
That was so
That was
fucked up.
That was so random. I don't even know. I forget why they had him in there in that movie. I haven't seen that movie in a while though.
his
But
dad. His dad worked there. He was going to go visit his dad.
oh,
That
you're right.
That was wild though.
Um, wait, I don't think either of you mentioned the kill with the bee's nest.
no, because that was insane.
But wasn't it a hornet's nest?
Yeah, the Hornets. That was crazy. I was like, okay, they're gonna attack him. Oh, they're going inside of his body and killing him from inside out. Okay,
That was
that's
wild. My trypophobia
that's
was
what we're
acting
doing here.
up.
And it was so that was crazy. And another one when Bill got taken out by the bowling ball. I was just waiting for that to come back, and then once it did, I was like, "There we go."
It was just wild. These kills were just everywhere and like a good. It was just funny. Don't get me wrong, it was funny,
It
but
was it was
it catches
diet
you off guard.
diet Final Destination.
Diet Final Destination's crazy. Now, at least you put a
It's a
face
lot
on
of
that.
Yeah, it's a lot of movies that do diet Final Destination type stuff, but and this was one of them. But I like I like when movies have like kills like that are just like sort of random, sort of like you see like the process of how it got there. Like at the beginning, we see the like the shopkeeper. Like the how it happens, like just like the mechanisms of how the deaths end up happening. I like little stuff like that. It's pretty fun, like pretty funny to me in certain aspects. Like it was played more for laughs in this one than it is as in something like the Final Destination. But I think it worked out good for this movie.
It did.
But that sums it up for me though.
Theo James is such a fun.
Well, let's move on to our character section and let's start with Petey. He was the son who he was I feel like he had a good dad because if you know that being around you could get him killed because you can't seem to not fucking play with the fucking toy. I mean, I say, you know what, leave. I wasn't mad about the once a year visits. Petey could have been more fucked up, honestly. Honestly, I'm kind of upset that he didn't have a twin. It would have made
But
the
you
story
wanted
more
PD
interesting.
also to have a twin.
I mean, twins tend to have twins, so it would have made sense in the long run. And it could have been like and that could have been more to the story of like why he ran away. Because like, oh shit, I gave birth to twins. What if they're like me and my brother? Oh my god, the monkey is drawn to Petey and the twin because it's even more mythical power. The twin of a twin. It would have worked. But what about you guys? What are your thoughts on Petey?
I would say this, like not. It's like a side note and type of PD, but it's more like I kind of expected Bill to be the one with the kids over Hal. I don't know, just the way that they've been acting when they were kids. He kind of felt like that ass that would have like kid. You know what I mean?
Mm, yeah, I could say that.
PD, I felt he was just like a background character to me. Like nothing wrong. He did his part right. Um, I felt like he was more of one of those characters where he was just there so the plot of the film can continue on. Um, Not saying that he was a bad actor or anything because that's not the case. I'm saying for PD's character. Um, but I didn't. I don't want to say I felt like I haven't seen him throughout the whole film because he was in the full film. It was just more like he was kind of in the background because the story wasn't really on him, but more on the dad.
I get what you mean. With that, like he wasn't like he wasn't the focus. The focus was mainly Hal, but um, and kind of going off what Mark said, because to talk about Petey, you also need to talk about Hal a bit. It's like I get why Hal would want to stay away and not more so deal. Not okay. I don't want to say deal with it as if it's a bad thing, but stay away in the sense that he doesn't want anything bad to happen to his son, which yes, I do get that, but him not like PD being um in the weeds about and like not having like any information on the side of the family or anything, like even if they did die or whatever, like you should at least tell your son about the family, at least somewhat. Like even if like um even if you let's say you didn't want to tell them about like your brother and like everything that happened to the family in the past, like and how everybody, you know, tragically died or whatnot. Like kids are curious. Like, what if PD ended up searching and found Bill and seeked him out before Hal was able to like like before like Hal came around, and like that's how um and like kind of like how it played out near the ending, and like held him hostage or whatnot. Like we don't know what could happen. You know, you gotta. Unfortunately, even if it's a hard thing as a parent, like your child needs to know these type of things, and um, regardless, if we see even if regardless at the end, even though he held out this long, shit still went to shit. So it was like damned if you did, damned if you didn't, and PD was kind of just stuck in the middle of it all. All he wanted to do was be with his dad, and now he's stuck with Elijah Wood as a self-help guru who makes books about being a good father, and he's not a father.
Well, why don't you tell us more about them as we move on over to the twins?
So they were they were kind of like weird to each other from jump. Like they had that like you always see things about like siblings like not getting along, but like wishing
Bill had an
wanting to throw or land a fucking bowling ball on your sibling's head while they're asleep, kinda insane.
but
Like
to be fair, his brother was an ass.
his brother was an ass, but the bowling ball over the head, kind of crazy. And it was Hal's fault that their mom died. He did wind up the monkey.
Well, he didn't know it was
Um,
gonna happen. Well, actually, let me take that back because they had an assumption. They assumed it, so I can't say that.
yeah, like, he didn't know who was gonna get it, but it was his fault that it happened in that instance. But also, can we say it's his fault? And can we say it was his fault and it just wasn't? And it was the monkeys. Like it kind of leaves. I won't say it like leaves it in the air because he had to interact. He interacted with it in that moment to like force it to go down. But
Involuntary.
so it's kind of on like a scale of things. Like, was he the one that did it, or was the monkey responsible? Type of deal. I don't know. So, but those two is just their whole like sibling situation. I don't really think there could have been any reconciliation that would have happened between those two in
Oh my god,
any.
the ending of the reconciliation just too. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude, really?
I don't, yeah, I don't think it would have really. I don't see what could have came differently out of their relationship. To be quite honest, like I think they always would have split apart. Even if most things probably went more right. Let's say their mom stayed alive and things like that. I don't think I would have foreseen them being like as they, I think they would have drifted apart as they got older because they didn't seem to be like they were for each other. They were kind of just dealing with the same situations, and one was just more like pessimistic than the other. Not saying that Hal was like more of the optimist, like he was like more optimistic on the look of things, but Bill was just like more down in the dumps and was like, well, if this is how it's gonna be, this is how it's gonna be, and Hal tried to live a life, but once he had a kid, then now he's on eggshells, like waiting, is the monkey going to come back or not? Like, what's going to happen now? And now he has to kind of live his life kind of just day by day at this point because he doesn't know what's going to happen. And meanwhile, Bill, in that whole time frame, was just plotting the entire time. So I don't think there was ever going to be any type of reconciliation between the two.
Elion,
I do agree with Twan. Like, I'm just gonna piggyback towards him because like what he said was what I was trying to say. I just wanted to add, just like what Twan said, like even if their mom died, they would they still would have been distant with each other. But at the end of the day, they were. the mother wouldn't even make a difference. It wouldn't even change the story. It's just like they'll just do the same thing that they did now. They just separate. Um, I don't know how to like for on Hal's sake. He was just a very cautious person. I don't know how he lived his life after like his before his son was born, but like just like Tuan said, he kind of lived a very cautious life, just kind of waiting for it. And then we have Bill over here, who was basically a mystery, but this whole time he was been trying to kill it. Like he's been holding that resent throughout the whole time, but we didn't get to that until like the end of the film. But it was just more of like their brotherly dynamic was kind of unrealistic in a sense. Like where yes, I do understand siblings don't like each other. I understand when siblings hate each other. But it was just like the way that the story was told for them, it just didn't feel now. How but like Hal himself, I don't want to say he was kind of like a pushover, he wasn't all that, he was just scared. And even till like at the end of the film, he still made sure that his son was his first.
El- Elian, what are your thoughts on the monkey?
Just like Twan said prior, just a uh, I forgot what Twan said, but I'm gonna say like a bootleg version of Final Destination. Um, the monkey itself, yes, it was mysterious, yes, but I'm like, I still want to know the reason why it does it. Like, it still says mystery, but it's just like it gives it's offering me the curiosity to understand how it's functioned. Like, what's the curse? What caused it to have occurred? Um, the monkey was just killing whoever the fuck it wanted. And once he was tired of fucking Bill, he made sure that bitch had the worst one right in the face. And if we do connect the monkey to the ending, the spirit at the end, I'm like, girl, that final one with the town, it drained your ass, didn't it? How do you think we felt when you was fucking up our lives?
Come on.
No. Um, I'm very much the opposite of Elion in that I do not want to know where the monkey came from or any reasoning behind it. I it's kind of like Talk to Me, where I don't want to know where the hand came from. Like if I don't think anything in the story would change for me by knowing where the monkey came from or derived from. We just know that it is here and it influences the chances of someone dying around us in a randomly horrific type of way. And I think that I mean that's the plot. That's and that's what pushes the plot along. We know that if it pulls that hand down on that drum, it's donezo for somebody. We don't know who, but it's gonna be somebody. Um. So yeah, I think I kind of like that part of it, but I was thinking like I think when I first watched the movie, I was wondering was the monkey just supposed to represent death, but we actually see the pale horseman at the end who is representing death. So I don't know. So I think the monkey is bypassing death himself because he looked a little out of it at the end. He was tired. Like how is death tired? But
You'd be tired too.
I wouldn't mind, like, not saying this needs a sequel, but wouldn't mind if somebody else just found the monkey and more shenanigans happen.
No,
Because why not?
no, Twan, no.
Mark, what would you do if you found the monkey?
Me being me,
Kill
I probably
everybody.
would. I look at it, but I wouldn't actually ever touch it because the way
It's
it looks, like,
creepy.
yeah, like I would just be like, what? I would just look at it and be like, nope, this is something that I should not be touching. I don't know what this is. It might got a camera in it. It might be a setup. I'm gonna just walk away. Being a horror movie watcher and lover, I I'd be suspicious of just random little tchotchkes laying around that look creepy. So I myself would have left that shit right where it was at. And like, nope, this isn't for me. Nope, nope,
Don't be
nope.
suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be
Yeah, I
suspicious.
don't think I would have done anything with the monkey. It would have reminded me of Call of Duty Zombies, and unless we were in
Oh my
the zombie
God, you're
apocalypse,
right.
I wouldn't have any reason to do anything with that monkey. So he would have, if I saw him in that box, I'd have been like, "Oh, he's standing here."
Yeah, I wouldn't have enjoyed it. I wouldn't have touched it. I'd be like, nope. I don't know whose monkey this is, but someone can get that monkey. I probably would have picked it up and thrown it in the trash, but like,
It was still going to come back.
I was gonna keep throwing it in the trash. Like, I was never gonna touch the monkey. I would have sold it to somebody. You want this?
You know, damn well nobody wants.
No, I would have took it to like Antiques Roadshow or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of them
I
old
would have
people get it.
I would have took it to Matt Rife and let him and sell it to him for his for the because he bought the Warren house. Like, put this in
Oh,
your
you right.
collection. This look creepy. Here you go. Here you go, sir.
With that, I will be giving you all the behind the scenes info and facts today. So, the budget for the monkey was between 10 to 11 million, and it brought in a box office of 68.9 million. Some interesting facts. The movie is based on a short story by Stephen King, first published in the 1980s. Like a lot of King's work, it turns an ordinary object into something deeply unsettling. Unlike Perkins' earlier, more serious films, The Monkey reportedly no, unlike Perkins' earlier, more serious film, The Monkey had more moments of twisted humor, kind of balancing shocking deaths with the slightly absurd tone of the film. The movie is part of a new wave of elevated King adaptations, alongside movies like It and Doctor Sleep. This film continues the trend of giving King's stories a more stylized, director-driven approach. And Perkins himself comes from a Hollywood legacy, as he is the son of the late Anthony Perkins, famous for playing Norman Bates in Psycho. So horror is kind of in his DNA. His father, Anthony, died in 1992 due to complications from AIDS-related pneumonia, and tragically, he will lose his mother, Bernice Perkins, in the September 11th attacks on the airline flight that crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. So Perkins sort of used the um what was I about to say? I was about to go off that because I read something about that.
He
Um,
he used like his own life experience, like of people like dying around him, to influence the story.
yeah, let me find the quote. Here we go.
Like,
Yeah, he was
hey, but
quoted.
pause. But like, that's fucked up though. You lose your father to AIDS, and then like what 6, 7, like 8 years later,
Seven.
you lose your
Ew, don't
mom,
start that.
and you lose your mom in a terrorist attack. Like, that's fucking wild.
Yeah, the quote that he had here is. Well, I'll just read this whole thing. Um This was from an interview he had with Empire, in his approach to the material. He stated that he took liberties like a motherfucker. He said, they, Atomic Monster, had a very serious script, very serious. I felt it was too serious, and I told them this doesn't work for me. The thing with this toy monkey is that people around it die in insane ways, so I thought, well, I'm an expert on that. Both of my parents died in insane, headline-making ways. I spent a lot of my life recovering from tragedy, feeling quite bad. It all seemed inherently unfair. You personalize the grief. Why is this happening to me? But I'm older now. You realize this shit happens to everyone. Everyone dies, sometimes in their sleep, sometimes in truly insane ways, like I experienced, but everyone dies, and I thought maybe the best way to approach that insane notion is with a smile. Moving on, we have some critics' reactions. The film sits at a 77 on Rotten Tomatoes. RogerDebert.com gave the film 3 out of 4 stars. And wrote, Perkins has always been a formally confident filmmaker, but The Monkey contains some of his best, most striking imagery. Inverse gave the film a less positive review, describing it as tonally haphazard and criticizing it for the lack of dramatic coherence. And The Atlantic wrote, In the hands of another director, the tone could wobble too widely. Perkins is a specialist in making childhood trauma feel grounded and relatable. However, that holds true for the loopy scares of his latest movie. But enough of them. What about us? Do we cash or pass? And for me, I will cash the monkey. I like this movie. I thought it was nice, little campy, fun time. Um, Theo James, I think he worked here. Um, and I mean, who doesn't like seeing Theo James? But I think he worked here. The death scenes that we got in this movie were pretty fun. Um, Yeah, it's just like one of those. It didn't take it. It wasn't, as he kind of said in that quote there. He wasn't taking himself too serious, and I'm glad that he kind of went with this tone, because I think if this was like a serious movie throughout, and it didn't have those moments of levity with some of the comedy bits thrown in, I think I probably would feel less of it. But it has an inherent campiness factor to it, with some of the ways some of the people get killed, and just like the acting, that I think it works better in this aspect of it all.
I'm gonna say cat. One, I did, just like Twan said, I really did enjoy it. I'm not gonna deny that I didn't not like it. It's one of those films like I would recommend someone to watch it, but it's not a film that I would go back and watch it again. It's one of those films like it's like time watch it, but it's still a good watch. So I'd still cash.
And for me, I also will be cashing it. Not like cinematic gold, but it's a good movie for what it was for what it ended up being. I enjoyed it a lot. It was campy, it was fun, it had a little bit of a deep story behind it, but it's a good movie. It's a cash. But next week, we're going to be reviewing Smile. But until then, good night.
If you like this episode, please be sure to check out some from the Haddonfield Horror Cemetery, where we've covered big franchises such as Friday the 13th, Halloween, and Saw, or one-off reviews like The Blackening or Hereditary. You can follow Haddonfield Horrors on Instagram and TikTok, where the host posts updates and mini reviews. Full episodes are available on several podcasting platforms, including Spotify, as well as YouTube. If you're listening to us on YouTube, please be sure to like and subscribe. The Haddonfield Horrors podcast is produced by Mark Smart, Tawan Griffin, and Elian Cordova, themed by Lethal Injection, and edited by Mark Smart.
The Haddonfield Horror Podcast is a Letter to Media production.
Should we do an intro?